Hello, this is Dr. Lee, and now we will be discussing the nervous system. And this is MBC 102, Unit 1 lecture, which is the Medical Terminology 2 course. The objectives for this presentation are to identify the organs and other structures of the nervous system, define and spell the word parts, build and analyze medical terms with word parts. Define, pronounce, and spell the disease and disorder, diagnostic, surgical, and complementary terms for the nervous system. Interpret the meanings of abbreviations and read medical documents and interpret medical terminology contained in them. The nervous system and the endocrine system cooperate in regulating and controlling the activities of the other body system. So the nervous system specifically may be divided into parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So the central nervous system is called CNS, and it's made up of the brain and the spinal cord. And the peripheral nervous system, or PNS, is made up of cranial and spinal nerves. And here are the cranial nerves. So you have the olfactory, the optic, the oculomotor, you have the trigeminal, the facial, the vestibular, cochlear, you have the vagus, and also spinal and hypoglossal. Now, the central nervous system also is composed of the brain and the cerebrum. So the brain is the major portion of the central nervous system. The cerebrum is the largest portion of the brain and is divided into right and left hemispheres. And it controls the skeletal muscles. This also interprets general senses like temperature, pain, and touch. And it contains centers for sight and hearing. Intellect, memory, and emotional reactions also take place in the cerebrum. Now, the ventricles are also spaces within the cerebrum that contain a fluid called the cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. And that flows through the subarachnoid space around the brain and the spinal cord. The cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, is very clear. It's colorless. It's a fluid that cushions the brain and the spinal column from shock, and it also transports nutrients and clears metabolic waste. The cerebellum, which is often called the hindbrain, is located under the posterior portion of the cerebrum. And the function of this is to assist in the coordination of skeletal muscles and to maintain balance. The brainstem, which is a stem-like portion of the brain that connects with the spinal cord. And we will continue this particular presentation in another slide, another presentation.